Okay class, today we are going to review how to divide fractions. The problem we have here is 3/5 divided by 3/4. However, we don't usually divide fractions. What we do is something called KCF. In KCF, we needed to make the problem a multiplication problem. That's how we solve a division problem in dividing fractions. So KCF stands for keep, change, and flip. K is keep, C is change, and F is flip. What we do here is we keep the first fraction so our fraction stays the same, 3/5. We change the division to multiplication, so instead of being division we now have multiplication. We flip the second fraction, so instead of being 3/4 now we have 4/3. Once we have this, we have to find common divisor to reduce the fractions. We have to do it cross cancel. What we do see here is that 3 and 3 share a common divisor of 3, so therefore they're reduced to 1 and 1. 5 and 4 are not able to be reduced, so they stay the same. We rewrite our problem, and our problem now is 1/5 multiplied by 4/1. Once we have reduced the fraction as much as possible, we multiply across the numerator and the denominator, symbolized here by the red arrows. So if we multiply 1 by 4, our answer is 4. If we multiply 5 by 1, our answer is 5. So our final answer is 4/5. So just to review, we use the KCF to change the division problem to multiplication. The K equals keep, C equals change, and F equals flip. We keep the first fraction, we change the division sign to multiplication sign, and we flip the second fraction. Once we have our new problem of multiplication, we find a common divisor to cross cancel. Once the fractions are reduced as much as possible, we multiply across the numerator and the denominator, and you should get your final answer.
Okay class, now that we saw the PowerPoint, we'll try our problem together, and the problem that we have is 5/8 divided by 5/6. And if we remember, we can't divide fractions. What we do is we use the KCF to try to solve our problem, and K equals keep, C equals change, and F equals flip. So if we keep our first fraction, we still have 5/8, but we have to change our division sign into multiplication sign. And if now we flip the second fraction, so now we have 6/5 instead of 5/6. Now we try to cross cancel these numbers to make our fraction smaller. The greatest common divisor between 5 and 5 is 5. So if we divide 5 by 5, we now have 1. If we divide 5 by 5, we also have 1. The greatest common divisor between 8 and 6 is 2. So if we divide 6 by 2, we now have 3. If we divide 8 by 2, we now have 4. So now we write our problem to be 1/4 multiplied by 3/1. When we have this step, we just multiply straight across the numerator and straight across the denominator. So when we multiply 1 by 3, we have 3, and when we multiply 4 by 1, we have 4. So that will be our final answer. Meaning, if we have 5/8 divided by 5/6, our final answer is going to be 3/4.